the word? Hold on. Let me get this together so y'all ain't gotta hear all of the moving back and forth with the chords. Yo, what's the word? It's your boy Gotti. Good morning. And all of those things. Happy Friday. We finally made it to the weekend. Kev Gotti show came out Monday. It's this one is climbing a little slower. I don't know if I tried to do some sensorization to it by removing certain words and putting bleepers over curse words just to see kind of what we would do. But I am starting to see that I probably should not do that because it is taking away from it. But as you can see from the title, YouTube Legends help me because I see a lot of the YouTube guys out there. I like to play around with my titles and everything. It's just really breaking the box and breaking the mold of getting out of the threshold that I am currently in. And it's like, I've been thinking, contemplating like, hey, do I do a new YouTube or do I just keep the same one? I think it'd be beneficial to just keep the same one because that's already where I'm kind of starting it at. But for me, it's not even also about the views, but I just made a vow to myself that they have to be over a certain amount of views for me to continue the next episode, just for, you know, business purposes. Now, every Kev Gotti show that I have done, we're on episode 6, gearing up for episode 7. I have done them for the purpose of demos for radio. I don't do anything because I want to gain clout or I want a repost by a celebrity, though it helps. Like we can see 50 Cent reposted me and it still was keeping me in the algorithm, still kind of getting love from the algorithm. Just really, it's never really been about that, though that respect is definitely like a cosign, but I have been at this for a while and I know that you cannot expect that from people, so I don't expect it. And that's not what I lead with. I lead with doing this for demo purposes only. And why not share it to YouTube so that other people can view it when I'm submitting these demos to places? So yeah, that's why I decided to do it. I think that a lot of people are just now catching wind of the Kel Gotti show and don't really know how it came about. So I think I will talk about that at a later time just to kind of reiterate all of the new people here to the channel. Sometimes you just have to kind of keep people updated, and that's okay. I have no problem with doing that because I know a lot of people can be confused or don't really understand how, we switch from one thing to being over here. Because over here, I was kind of running just, my vlogs, the cooking, just pretty much everything, whatever kind of video I was really doing. I didn't have no set videos that I was doing on this channel. But once I rolled out the Kev Gotti show, I wanted to be more intentional. Now in doing that, I still don't know if I should create another YouTube. But like I said, I think it's more beneficial to keep it where I'm at. Never do it for views, never do it for likes, comments, or anything like that. Though I appreciate the people that do it. It's all love, but those are my demos, and I will continue to show my work. And I think a lot of people get caught up in the other things. And social media is just like hilarious. Like the internet is, I don't even think we could take anything on the internet serious. The internet is starting to move like, okay, today we may put this story, headline story up about you, and tomorrow it's gonna be another one. And we're just gonna roll with whatever narrative we decide we wanna go with for that day. Whatever side of the bed we decide we wanna wake up on and paint a narrative for you, that's what we're gonna do. And, I think it's clear as day. We're seeing that with Nicki Minaj of it all. Nicki Minaj stepped out, spoke with Trump, and also went to Melania's movie premiere last night in DC. So, social users, of course, are up in a frenzy. All of the blogs and tabloids are, reporting on it. And one thing that I've just seen throughout this entire Nicki Minaj fiasco, starting from the Cardi B thing, is just to see publications go from valuable sources to, you know, engaging in Stan Wars. And Stan Wars is a pretty famous word on what's formerly known as Twitter, which is now X. A lot of people, you know, have Stan pages and they stand their favorite artists. By all means, find your niche, do you stitch? But when it comes to Nikki, it's like all of these publications that were, of higher ranking than social media have decided to join in. And, I have so many other, so many other points that I can make on that topic, but I think I'm gonna discuss it at a later time and simply understand that
Hey, bad bitch. All right. No, no one put it in there yet. Okay.
it's they. What you looking for?
My
The
AirPods.
AirPods, they in there, still on the counter.
Thank you.
My bad, y'all. It's a little ghetto shit going on. One of my employees just walked in. Anyway, so yeah, it's so many points that I can make to that, but I rather not. We getting up for episode 7, so there's a bunch of things that we're gonna do, and it's gonna be a very new look. It will be different for episode 7 because it's gonna be more so a on the road type of thing.
So y'all just vibing.
Yep.
Oh, first thing 2:30.
Oh, you not here today?
I was. I was cut.
Oh wow. Okay.
I was
Okay.
like, fuck
Okay.
no, it didn't matter. I got an interview today, so I was like, good. I needed to be cut.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you. I was like, fuck that. I'm fine. I got to do the Yankee shit, Yankee Stadium.
Okay.
So I'm like, yes. I tried to do that like last year or the year before, and I didn't like make it in time. But premium food runner is $22.50.
Good luck.
I need that.
Positive vibes. Go in there and show your personality.
Hello. Experience, personality, we good. We is good.
A personality to win for you.
Like, we good. But yeah, so hopefully, but I'm supposed to be there all day, so I was like, nah, I can't be there and not have no earphones. I'm
Yeah,
coming
nah.
down here, I'm getting my case, and I'm going back uptown.
I already know how you feel. I'm bad. I left my other phone at home. I'm sitting over here struggling. I'm like, oh my God.
Yo, stressing like a mofo. Alright, I'm gonna pee and then get up out there.
All right. Be
Enjoy the day.
safe. Are you too? So yeah, to my point, I think that it's embarrassing to see publications go down and revert to going to a level of Stan Wars because you have interns or you have producers or showrunners that are running these social media pages at this point and is more so involved on personal than a professional level. And I think one thing that really blows my mind is when I first went to radio, my very first day, we set up like a roundtable discussion, and I was sitting with the personality. She was from 10 to 2. And I rather not share her name, but if you're familiar with me, you know who that is. But we were sitting around at the table, and, you know, oftentimes the interns or the understudies are usually the scapegoats. Like that's who, we using your content, we taking your story, but then we gonna flip it on air and put it on ours. Some days they may not come prepared. So hey, just know your notebook need to be locked and loaded. My notebook is already locked and loaded for just topics or starting points, for any day, any given time. But this particular day, she was asking a question and I kind of gave a response. She was like, no, we're never going to lead with an assumption. We always have to do the facts. And it just makes me goes to show that, like, that corporation stood by that. And to see all of these other ones leading towards just more so favoring fans or running with whatever narrative is trending on social media. I think the problem that we're going to see and what's going to become even a more bigger issue is going to be seeing that, you know, things like CNN, things like 60 Minutes, all of these programs, ABC News, all of the stations, everything under the umbrella of news channels, your local news. I think what's going to happen is we're going to start losing publications just as well as we're losing TV shows because social media is becoming such a quote unquote driving force that is making it so important that, as long as it's trending or it's the trend, that's all we care about. It's not the proper thing to care about news. Just like for instance with Donald Trump, like all of the things that he do and ways that people feel and disagreements with things that he say, I think that half of the people that hear about things that he have said, only see it from like being reported on social media. No one's looking at the full scheme of the conversation. And I'm not telling you to do that because there's plenty of things that I don't agree with that aligns with him, but that's just the person in charge right now. So that is the prime example of what I can use. I think we get misled by false narratives that are painted, and not only with him, just like with the Nicki Minaj thing. Let's just spin the block and go back into it. I know I had someone into the room. I do apologize again, but just kind of going back around to circle it to my point when it comes to the Nicki Minaj of it all. At first it was, she's wrong for speaking about Cardi B child, but Cardi did the same thing a couple years back. That was kind of Nicki pretty much putting the mirror onto Cardi, reflecting that off. Regardless of if you felt like it was right or wrong, it was something that she was projecting. Now, fast forward from that, we moved on from that. She was bitter. She was mad about her album. Her album still didn't do, I guess, what was expected to do, but it did fairly well. You cannot knock that for Cardi B. It was a pretty good body of work. But, they said she was mad about that. That came and went. Gearing up for the tour. They're starting to compare the numbers and trying to do this and that. But when Nicki tour was out, no one was even talking about how every show was pretty much sold out. That was Nicki uploading her stats. That was people like that don't even have affiliations with Nicki no more. Like people like celebs on Love Nicki that was reposting, the tour stats. You got Sleaze Mirage that's constantly riding for her. That's just consistently putting it out there that have that large following that is a stand page because publications are not supporting it because of their narratives that they want to paint or leaning towards having a fave in a situation or in a fight. Instead of going into it neutral, these publications are now going into it leaning towards one side more than the other. And I just think that we're giving, not even gave or give, we are giving Nicki Minaj too much power. How is one celebrity receiving so much power that, she have the will to control an industry or control and sway the people? If you were really concerned about Nicki Minaj speaking out at a rally and having the public eye, why wasn't she at the Kamala Harris campaign? Why wasn't she come out till last year? So prior to, why were those two the main two that they went and got? Well, I mean, I think it's obvious. You have Jade that's doing all of his alleged things behind the scenes. And, I think that it was, again, a campaign that wanted to be pushed. Regardless of if we've heard Nikki speak out about who she's endorsing, now that she is, it's a problem. So we didn't know if she was endorsing Kamala or Trump, quote unquote, if we want to go back to the campaign, which was just recent. Now, if we want to stick to the facts, though, and go back 14 years, she been told y'all she was a Republican voter for Mitt Romney. That's why I don't understand why the internet has this fake woke mentality. Now I understand even more why Ayanna Vanzant was saying that, I'm doing the inside fix where I'm revealing these clips, but we're not in the same world that we were in 14, 15, 13, 12, hell, even 10 years ago, to where I can have this open dialogue and open conversation with people and, actually get through and say what I really want to say because everything is so case sensitive. Everything is so let's fit the means or needs of, said person, said artist. And it's just, it's to a place to where now it's like, how are we going to even be able to hold people feet to the fire? How are we going to keep accountability? And, in a basic moral principle life, you have people that don't even have to get on the internet, that rely on their news coming from, like I say, ABC or talk shows like The View and things like that. They get their updates from television programming. I'm not going to name all of them in specifics because I don't want to leave anybody out. But my point is, they rely on network television. You have people that don't even have an Instagram account, that don't even have a TikTok account, they don't have a Facebook. So it's like part of the world is so locked in on one set of news versus the other half of the world or the people that just not subscribed to it or the people that subscribe to both and are getting what's quote unquote factual, but is it even, you know? I remember TMZ being one of the first people to break stories and get news back in the day. And now TMZ will report a false story and come back and clear it up. Like it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'm gonna go and talk about some other things because I don't want to, hold y'all too long on this Friday morning. But yeah, man. So back to the Kel Gotti show. We're like I said, we're getting up for episode 7. I am trying to figure out all of the elements and things because I want to give you guys the episode before I go to Mardi Gras, but just the way I'm thinking that we're just gonna get that on the road show. Now, in doing that, there's a couple things that do want to do, and we're just gonna execute it and pull it off, and we're gonna have a good time. So I want all y'all to stay tuned. But in the meantime, in between time, we cannot get episode 7 until you guys push episode 6 to where it needs to be. Please, please, please go and support episode 6 of the Kev Gotti Show for me. Send it to your friends, family, cousins, uncles, nieces, nephews. Just tell them to give me a watch. It's something for everybody of all ages. We talked about the Casanet of it all. We talked about Ayana Vanzant returning. Talked a little bit about, a couple things in politics. Talked about how barber shop culture is changing from traditional barbers losing money due to new age barbers coming around with, just their styling of black spray and being able to install units. Just the whole industry of how that is changing. We talked about a lot of things in episode 6, and I just want you guys to go take a look. I did drop it a little early. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but we talked about a bunch of things. So like I said, there's something for ages of everybody, and that's what I like to do. I like to make sure that it's something that's going to keep the eye of everybody and keep everybody watching. And like I tell people all the time, you may get to a point of the show where you don't even know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. Skip past, find you a section, and tune in. But that's all I got on this Friday, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the love. You know, I'm working on building a community over here. I'm gonna start trying to get over here live more often with y'all so that we can start to build a rapport and I can get to know some of the people that's really supporting me and standing in the paint for me and batting for your boy because I see y'all weekly. I see it. I see it. I see it. And I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you. It's your boy Kev Gotti, man. I am logging out. Until the next sign on. Y'all be blessed. Stay easy. It's your boy Gotti.